I just wanted to start off by explaining what we're doing here and what the purpose of the day is. So, first of all, the reason we put this event together is purely because I've got a belief that this industry is blowing up. Everyone in here is a grappling MMA business owner. Some of you have been doing it quite a while, maybe 10 years or more. Some of you are more recent. But I think this industry is on a trend right now where it's basically an upward trajectory and there's a lot of money to be made. Everyone in here has got a really good product. I know that because I deal with a lot of you. I know the service in your gyms is brilliant. And generally what we offer as Jiu-Jitsu club owners, MMA club owners, is a really good product. It's life-changing for a lot of people. And I know lots of businesses say that, but I know it is, that it's run by passionate business owners. There's people in here that have only really got into the business because they want to coach, they want to train, they want to be on the mats as much as possible. So the product's great, but I just think there's a real opportunity if we get everything else right, sales, systems, marketing, we can really make a lot of money. And a lot of people say, oh, I'm not bothered about the money, but you are bothered about the money if you have to go get a full-time job or you're never going to get to leave your full-time job. So we want to make enough to make a good living and keep providing a great service for our clients. So the idea of today is to help you with everything else. We're going to be covering sales, we're going to be covering systems, we're going to be covering marketing, we're going to be covering some additional revenue streams, and that's the whole idea. The other thing I wanted to cover as well is, I did say it on Instagram, but some of you probably don't watch my videos, but this isn't a pitch fest. It's basically, my job today is to make you think I'm alright, and I know what I'm talking about, that's it. So, you by the end of today will know what we do, and if you want to work with us, great. But at least you know what we do and we're there. But at no point today will I be pitching anything or forcing anything on you. It's about giving away loads, giving you loads of takeaways, and making you want to come next time as well. The other thing as well, I just believe that we're going to give you loads of value, but the value is in the room. So you're going to be speaking to the business owners that are further ahead, some that are new that you could advise, and you'll take away loads from other people. Because I've been in other business industries, gyms, salons, all these kind of things, and they do this kind of thing regular. And one of the biggest things you can take from it is other people. So I want to start something where we can do that, and hopefully there's a wave of these type of events popping up. Even if they do, they'll just keep coming to ours and ignore the rest of them. So yeah, that's the purpose. Progress, obviously supporting the events, appreciate that. They're going to be here today to help you with a few things and hopefully do a couple of giveaways that we haven't mentioned. But yeah, all I ask for today, just have an open mind, enjoy it. If you do speak to other business owners, try not to be closed off, try to be open about what you're doing and whatnot, and that's the way we're all going to take a lot away from it. Just to cover the itinerary, so obviously I'm going to do about 30 minutes now. We're going to have loads of breaks. After myself, Benny's going to be jumping on covering loads of things to do with organic and paid marketing and content creation, which I'm sure a lot of people can take a lot away from. And then later on we've got Mark from Progress presenting on potential revenue streams that's beneficial to everybody as well. Questions throughout the day are welcome, just jump in, let's keep this chilled and informal. And yeah, has anyone got any questions before we get started? Jared, did you have a question about croissants? No? No? They're over there anyway, so if anyone wants to grab one at any point, you can get some. So, I'm going to jump straight to my presentation. So my presentation is all about sales systems. A lot of this we cover with Sales Hero, but the presentation isn't about Sales Hero, it's about what you can do with or without us and the reason why it's so important and beneficial. So yeah, quick introduction to me. I always like using this picture with me in a chair, it's a bit of a funny opener, but so who am I? Just in case anybody doesn't know who I am, I'm just going to cover this quickly. So I've been in sales for 20 years, so I'm not some tech nerd that suddenly does sales using tech. I was a sales guy that's learned a little bit of tech, so I've been doing this since I left school at 16. I'm a multiple business owner, a bit cringy to say, but I just want you to know that I have run other businesses, I've bought and sold businesses and things like that. I'm also co-owner of High Jiu-Jitsu with Simon, where I started with there, so we've been running that for 9 years, and that's the point of that is just to let you know that I do run a grappling gym. I get what it's like to be a business owner in this industry, etc. I'm not just somebody that claims to know what they're talking about. Obviously, the owner of Sales Hero, and I like to think one of my expertise is understanding why customers buy. So I'm not stood over here today saying, I can persuade anybody to buy anything. It's not about that. It's about having a system and a product and way of positioning it that people just want to come and buy it off you. So anybody in here that's my customer will know that I've not hunted anybody down, I've not pressure sold anybody, just had a normal chat, got to understand the value of what we do, and if you want it, you'll want it. I don't need to like go, please sign up now, £20 off now if you sign up this second, all that kind of stuff. And it's the same with Jiu-Jitsu and martial arts in general. Our product is great. All you need to do is get people to understand how great it is, so they actually show up, and then when they do show up, they'll stay. Because everybody here has probably got great retention. The biggest obstacle is getting them in the door. And the reason why systems are so important, which we're about to cover now, go to the next slide. The reason why it's so important is because there's so many opportunities to pull out of starting at a gym like ours. It's terrifying for the first time. So I actually started martial arts when I was 11. That was in 2001. I went to a freestyle wrestling club, and I ended up doing freestyle wrestling for a few years from there. And in those days, I found it in the Yellow Pages. I rang somebody up. It was somebody in their own house answering the phone. If anyone knows, it was Cheadle Wrestling Club. There was a few faces that are still in the game now there. And I was really convinced I wanted to start. So it was a terrible experience because I had to find the Yellow Pages. There wasn't internet, I don't think, or probably just about was. And I turned up to this school. I didn't even know it was going to be there until I walked in the door and there's people there. When I arrived, there was no other kids. They had to ring the local British champ that had given up recently to come down and train with me. And it was just a weird experience, but I was so sold in it. I was 10 out of 10 interested that I was going to find a way to do it. Whereas in this day and age now, most people aren't going to do that. If you don't make the process simple and clear and efficient, they're just going to bounce. They're going to go and do paddle. They're going to go to the pub, whatever. Our competition is at each other. It's every other distraction out there. So the way people buy has changed, and a big part of today is helping this industry evolve, making our systems as future-proof as everybody else. Because if you go to any other industry, they're all on it. They all have websites. They all have quick responses to inquiries. They all have these really efficient processes. And a lot of us are getting away with it now at the moment because we have way more demand than supply. But I promise you, over the next 2-3 years, there'll be double the clubs, if not more. I mean, you probably all know, if you've been the only club in your area for a few years, there's probably another one already open next year, and there's going to be more than that. So if we're not on it now, somebody's going to come in with the right systems and take over. So it has gone through an evolution. The old way, there was a lack of choice. It was slow. You might have done sales calls, which people now don't like. It was time consuming. You almost had to hunt people down. Everybody here who's been open for a few years probably knows that the only way to get into it back in the day was to just show up. If you want to train, you just show up, or bring cash and all that. That won't be good enough now. And obviously, you'll all have had an experience where leads will get in touch, and then the next day you'll ring them and they're not interested anymore, or they ignore you. And it's just because life gets in the way, they change their mind quickly, the retention gets diverted. So the only way to make it work now in your sales and your systems is to be fast. And that's what I'm talking about, the new way. So with this day and age now, customers have choice. They have choice of hobbies, but also clubs. People make decisions on a fast and impulsive basis. So they might be on social media. We see a lot actually. UFC London when it's on, like everyone's leads go through the roof. Because people are watching a fight, they have this moment of inspiration, think, I need to do this, and been thinking about it for ages. They'll inquire. But by the next morning, they've kind of chilled out and the alcohol's wore off. Do you know what I mean? So we need to react to those fast and impulsive people. Could take a seat, guys. There's quite a few at the front there. And the key thing here is, as I've just kind of covered, is we need to be fast responding to leads to catch them while they're in that mindset, while they're in that impulsive moment where they're excited and they want to do it and the time's right. We need to catch them and convert them before they have the chance to go off the idea. So let's go to the next slide. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to cover a few slides, a few topics of 7, is it 7 or 5? 7, it's usually 7. We're going to cover 7 points that I think you should implement into your business, and I want you to rate yourself 1 to 5, 5 being the best, 1 being the worst, on how good and future-proof your sales process is currently. Because I promise you, these 7 things, if you're not doing them in 5 years, you're going to be falling behind. So you might be doing some now, you might not be, but eventually, just to keep up, you will have to be. Because this industry is doing so well, I can assure you that these kind of one-man band gyms that are built from passion won't be the only gyms around. Eventually they're going to be investment coming in where a super gym comes on your doorstep, and I promise you they will have all the systems in place. So we need to make sure we're future-proofed and up to date as well. So let's go to number one. So at the minute it's kind of nice to respond within 5 minutes. Eventually it's going to be essential to respond within 5 minutes. And as you can see on here, this stat gets thrown around everywhere, and it's true. 78% of people could buy from the business that responds first. At the minute, if you're the only one in your area, you're probably going to be first. If you're one of two and the other business isn't on it, you might still be first, but eventually you're never going to be first unless you have a way of responding within 5 minutes. Some people will say call them in 5 minutes. I don't know about you, but I don't agree with anybody. So you need to have a way of doing it that's sustainable and it can be consistent. You might sometimes respond within an hour, but what we need to do is respond within an hour, ideally 5 minutes every single time, and give people that consistent response to grow your business consistently over time. And obviously my solution that I'm promoting here is automating that first response. That's the only way, in my opinion, we can guarantee we cover 5 minutes every single time. Obviously, we cover that in sales here ourselves, but there are lots of ways of doing it. But my kind of recommendation is to make sure you automate it, because I don't know about you, I'm not ready to respond to everybody all the time within 5 minutes. Number two, we need to be following up at least twice. More if you want, but my belief is 2 follow-ups on top of an initial reach out is plenty. And then what I will then generally do is, if they don't respond within after 3 times, we will then follow them up at a later date and kind of re-engage them or warm them up with an email sequence, for example. But for anybody that does follow up, you will know that you do often catch people on the 2nd or 3rd time. So you might get to them first time, whatever, they're busy, or they were just inquiring on a lunch break or whatever. Then the second one comes in, it's just about catching them at the right time. Don't get me wrong, the chances drop after that first response, but the chances dramatically go up, as you can see in the data by doing follow-ups. And a lot of people in this room probably do a follow-up now and again, 2 follow-ups now and again, sometimes never follow-up. But what we're going to do is make sure we're following up overall 3 times every single time. Over a year, it can add up to a huge amount. And obviously, same solution as the last slide, automating those follow-ups.
What do you find the best follow-up procedure is? Is it emails? Is it Instagram? What?
No, so sorry, I should have been clear, but we're talking text here. Text message or WhatsApp, both of them are good. Emails, the reason why that's not good is because the whole thing's slow. So what we're going to get to later is we wrap the whole thing up pretty quickly. Email, I don't remember anything getting wrapped up quickly. I'll email you, then you'll email me back tomorrow, and then I'll email in the morning. Nothing happens quickly. Whereas text or WhatsApp, it can be bam, 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 done in 10 minutes. And I guess the only options are text, WhatsApp, and email for automations, and without a doubt, messaging is the best one.
I mean, just add to the email point as well.
Yeah.
So one thing, whenever I get asked that question about email, I can't who asked the question. So when was the last time that you bought something off an email you received?
I've never been a fan, really.
And that's the reality.
It's like an example. It's obviously good to
Yeah. SMS and WhatsApp definitely is the way to go.
Yeah, email's good as well, like as an alternative, but first kind of your first main weapon, I suppose you could say, is like is messaging. And plus, same with calls. Like I don't answer phone calls at all now if I don't know the number. In fact, I ignore a lot of numbers that I know. But texting, you might catch me. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm just chilling, I'm responding. Who sometimes chats over text and they ring you and they go, they usually, like so. So yeah, text is the best way in my opinion. Let's go to the next slide.
Just on the email one as well, I think it's worth, like when you get data capture and thing on the email, having some sort of automated chain that, like, because if they are responsive to emails, you can get a lot more buy-in and a bit more storytelling with emails.
Yeah, that's true.
I personally prefer texting, but there's still value in an email chain and keeping them captured over, like, even if it's 30 days, like, James Smith does it really well with his products.
Yeah.
Just like cover bases for different kind of people responses.
Absolutely. I think we're going to cover it. I think it's on the 4th or 5th point, but to follow up on the follow-ups, so after 3 texts, we would then put them into a pile of like leads that are cold, and that's when what Simon's just said, like they might get an email chain and that tries to warm them up. Or even what we'll do for a lot of our clients is like every 2-3 months we'll hit them with a new text, hey, we're looking to take new people on next month. And what we'll do is we'll be targeting like 200 people that have inquired over the last 4 or 5 months. So we never give up on them, But obviously the initial kind of ideal situation is to hit them 3 times and get them in the door immediately. Number 3, so a lot of you will have this. I find that most people speak to and say 8 or 9 out of 10 will have this already, but if you don't, this is an easy takeaway for you today. Having a clear offer to start with you, and a membership isn't a clear offer. That's kind of like the thing after the thing. What we want to have is like, this is who we are, this is what we do, this is where we are. The best place to start is with a free session, or a free 1-week trial, or a paid trial, whatever it is, beginner's course, whatever it is. Here's a clear starting point. And I guess the equivalent is, it's like somebody getting somebody's number on a night out. Like, easy kind of first thing, then a date, then marriage. But you could meet the love of your life at a night out and go, hey, marry me, and they're like, absolutely not. So you're just warming the whole situation up. So that's the similar thing. One little bite size, effective, on here I've put minimal effective dose, so like a week trial. A week's probably a good amount in my opinion. You can do 2 free sessions, see what fits into your schedule for that week before making a decision longer term. Whereas 1 session works, but for me, something like, oh, I've done no gi, now I do gi, or I've done striking, or what I do jiu-jitsu, whatever. And rather than like changing your offer all the time, just 1 week gives an example. 2 weeks, some people use effectively as well. But it's about giving them the minimal effective dose to make a long-term decision. And another one I've not discussed is, make sure whatever your offer is, it's the same across all channels. Like, you'd be surprised how much stalking people do before they make a decision. You go on the website, you see your ad, you go on your Instagram, you go on your Google profile. If it says different things, it's a red flag because it makes you look not professional, or you're winging it. So we want to try and have as many green flags as possible. And this is a really underrated one in my opinion. So if somebody gets in touch with you and you get in touch the next day, and then your response is saying, hi mate, yeah, just come down tomorrow. You might think you're being friendly and nice, but it's not professional. And the best thing you can be in an initial response for a martial arts gym especially is professional. Because for me, if you inquired at an MMA gym, which is intimidating in the first place, but then you get a professional text straight away, it immediately makes me go, oh, they're quite professional setup these, can't be that scary. Like, it's way more scary when it's informal, or slow responses and all that. So the best first impression you can give is a professional one. It builds trust, and they're way more likely to book or show up. So try and be formal. Obviously, you don't have to be like dead strict language, but being formal really helps people to relax, lower anxiety, and increase the show up rate. So has anyone got any questions on that one? Because I find sometimes we get a little bit of debate on this. Yeah?
I'm really informal. So Ben's really good at being formal. So
Yeah.
it-
Which bit are you talking about?
like once we've made that kind of connection, once we've kind of sent maybe the initial,
Yeah.
hey, you know, this is bad, blah blah blah, all of that. If it's something that's kind of that I would be good at talking about, then obviously I will pick up the messages.
Yeah.
And quite often, I'll be really honest, I will pause the AI
Yeah.
because the response may require me to kind of give a little bit more and a
Yeah.
little bit more of myself.
No, what you're saying is
Really
not what I mean. I've seen yours is great. So I'm not saying be like informal. Like I'm saying, I suppose a better word is lackadaisical. Like rather than answering all the questions, you just go, don't worry about it. We'll just see you tomorrow. I'll chat to you there. They're probably not going to come in. And your responses are rapid, so that's professional. Like you're responding and following up and all that, because obviously you're on the system. But to go there informal is good, because once you've actually opened up the conversation, you can be informal and relaxed and things like that. But you can be a bit informal and professional. What I mean more, I find it unprofessional when you're being so informal that you're not really putting the mind at ease. When you're not kind of going, is there anything else you'd like to know before you come in? And I know you'd say that we don't want to be rash, we don't want to kind of draw a line under it and say we'll figure it out, because it probably won't come in. And sometimes as a gym owner, you can struggle to see it from their point of view, how scary it is. Like, you probably think you don't look scary, but a lot of people in this room could look scary, especially if you're not smiling and pictures and things like that. So it's about trying to give them a really good first impression so that they actually want to follow through and then show up. So this is kind of like a little bit of what Simon said before, and I think this might be the biggest opportunity in the room for everybody, because I think the majority, not the majority, but a lot of people won't be doing this. So capturing data. So it sounds a bit cringe. People think, oh, I don't want to be that guy that captures everyone's data, but it's so important over time, and this is where you have an advantage as a business owner that's open now before everybody else, because you could capture more data than anybody else. The longer you're open, the more leads you get, the more people in your database. And a lot of people in this room will have huge databases that they don't even use, and they just don't see any value in them. We work with people, they come to us and they go, oh, I've got like 1,000 leads. It's like, well, we can literally get loads of people in the gym from them leads immediately. So capturing data and the issue of self-booking. So let me just cover one thing straight away, because I know a lot of people in this room will do self-booking. And what I mean by that is you've got a timetable on your website that just allows them to book their first trial session. And that's really efficient, and it kind of ties in with a lot of our values, being quick and efficient and letting people get to the point. But the problem with that is unless they book, you don't even know they've been on the website. It's like step 2. It's like going straight to asking for another date rather than getting a number. Like, if you get them to self-book, if they go on the self-booking system and go, oh, I don't know which session's right for me, or am I okay to them as a beginner? What they do is they bounce and you don't even get the details. Whereas if you capture the details, then have that chat and talk them through it. It's the equivalent of going to the car showroom and there's just car machines next to all the cars. You just let people walk in and go, dude, how many cars do you think will get sold? You need somebody to come in. As annoying as it is, I literally went to buy a car yesterday, it's one annoying. If somebody comes and assists you, you're way more likely to buy, because they can literally, you can ask those questions, I'm looking for this, I'm looking for that, and they'll just go, right, let me take you over to those 2. Whereas if you just let them do it themselves, the fear's going to kick in, they're not sure, they won't get in touch, because like we had a lead at my gym the other day who went, oh, I've been thinking about doing it for ages, but I thought I'm too old because I'm 33. Like, it's like, imagine if you just went to the website, went to self-book, and then went, I'll leave it because I'm 33. Whereas I could just go, what are you talking about? Like, of course, you're a good age, blah, blah, blah. What's the difference between gi and no gi? All these things, these bits of jargon that make people not sure what to book on. And on that topic as well, quickly, if you've got a timetable, simplify it to the people that don't know anything about jiu-jitsu. Put brackets, fundamentals, brackets, like wearing the gi, all these kind of things, because every session looks advanced unless you make it clear that it's for beginners or fundamentals or all levels, all these kind of things. So just to summarise, we have to be capturing data. If you've not got a website, you're missing out loads of data. If you've not got even a form for people to fill in, you're missing out loads of data. If you're doing self-booking, you're missing out loads of data. And the reason for the importance of data is this bottom line. And basically, let's say we get 20 leads a week, we'll respond quickly, we'll follow up, whatever. Let's say 10 of those book in for a trial or whatever it is, 10 don't. So every week 10 go on the like cold lead pile. Over a year, do you know what I mean? That's 520 leads. And then what we will do is we will do what Simon said, send emails out, we'll text them and say, hey guys, just want to see if you're still interested in starting jiu-jitsu, whatever. It's quite reasonable to think if you have 520 leads after a year, 10 of them, it might be the right time. It's a minor bit. And then if you get 10 out of those, as well as 10 new people that just inquired, you've just doubled your sales and members. And that's the compound effect, because someone like Voodoo that's been open for 25 years, like, they've got a joke amount of leads, thousands. And the thing that's good as well is if you fancied jiu-jitsu 10 years ago and you haven't started yet, you probably still fancy doing it. Like, you don't really go off the idea. It's like learning an instrument. If I wanted to learn guitar, I've still not done it. I probably still want to learn guitar, I've just not pulled the trigger. So if you're in an area and you've got 1,000 people at some point in your area that want to start jiu-jitsu and they're on your list, that is a gold mine. If you send a text out, an email out, whatever, and it's the compound effect, because if a new gym opens in your area, you've got a head start because you've got 1,000 people on a list and they've got none. And you've literally got a pool of people there that are ready to jump off the subs bench and start at any time. And if you get to a point where you're getting sales every month from new leads and old leads, that's the compound effect. That starts to compile up. So let's go to the next one. This one, just a quick one. So a lot of people here are the business owner, the coach, everything. They're doing sales, all that. And if you're the salesperson for your business and you're doing it all yourself, your business is being bottlenecked by yourself. And what I mean by that is when you're rolling, when you're coaching, when you're on holiday, when you're out for a meal, when you're busy, your whole business is not moving. So the whole thing is reliant on you. And we've all been there where you're out for a meal and you get a lead and you're like, shall I respond or shall I be present on this meal? And you can have this battle in your head all the time. And ultimately, sometimes it wins, sometimes it doesn't. I think you should set up a sales system that allows multiple people to be responsible, and ultimately, whoever's on shift or whoever's working or whatever can respond to leads. In our case, we don't do that anyway. We obviously have a system that does it for you, but even if you're not on our system, in your own system, if somebody responds, you want to be not just the only person that can handle it, because you've got to hold the business back by being the bottleneck of your business. So you want to, there's lots out there, get software where you can have a virtual phone number, shared access, multiple people can log in and respond to people. And this is a big one for me. So this is what obviously Sales Hero does really, really well. So not only do we respond to people quickly and follow up, but as soon as they respond to us back, so I might send a text out and say, hey Dave, thanks for your application. Are you looking to start a trial next week? The problem is with that, when they respond, it was an automated text, you weren't there. But what we do now, which I'm not going to go over too much, we actually have built AI sales bots that will literally respond to every response of theirs. So in a nutshell, if they come back and say, yeah, sounds good mate, I was looking to start next week, the bot will say, great, but we've got fundamentals Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 6, how does that sound? Great. The whole thing will literally be done in 3-4 minutes. And quite obviously, but you can see the data on there, which is a bit of a joke really, 4 times, they say, which I don't believe actually, that sounds a bit exaggerated, but 4 times improvement on sales when you closed in the moment. So I'm not talking about a response immediately, I'm talking about response immediately, and then a response immediately, and then a response immediately, and a response immediately. So even if you message them, they respond, then you respond, and they don't get back to you until 4 hours later, you might be doing something else then, you've gone home, whatever, the bot's still there, blah, 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 blah. These are highly trained bots that this business was built before bots, we did it all manually. So we literally just trained the bot up on the system and et cetera, et cetera. But even if you don't want to work with us, there's loads of things out there you can use with bots, and there is a benefit to that. An alternative to a bot is to actually hire a full-time salesperson, which is also effective, but obviously expensive. But having someone available to respond and close the leads when they're ready, not when you're ready, will dramatically improve your business overnight. So just to follow up on everything we've covered there, being first is half the battle, follow-up's essential. I don't know why I'm reading them all out, but I've not come this far now. Simplify how people can start, first impressions count, data collection is a must, don't be the bottleneck, and speed to sale is a game changer. So if you have been doing it, I would look at your score and figure out what your biggest weaknesses are. I think a lot of you will probably be really good at some of them and not so good at others. If you're good at all of them, feel free to come up on stage. And yeah, so is there a slide? Oh yeah. So yeah, I said there wouldn't be a pitch fest, but I do need to say that not just today, but for the next week, if anyone is interested, we're doing no setup fee, okay? So, anyone got any questions? Even if it's not questions, anyone got anything you want to challenge on? Because I've not got everything right, but this is my kind of thoughts and rationale.
One thing I wanted to ask was, there's been quite a bit online recently about free trials. I've seen quite a few people saying, why do a free trial if we're not willing to spend a tenner on one session?
Who said it online?
There's a few clubs out there. There's a Henshaws was one. There's a few other clubs that I saw.
I saw Ash Williams. I ended up debating with him on it, but Ash Williams is now a client, thankfully.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, to be dead open and honest with you, Ash Williams isn't doing a free trial, he's doing a £6 trial, which is great. So my kind of thought process isn't do free trial, do it I promise you, right, in 5 years, everyone will have to do paid trials. We'll have to, and the reason being is because when eventually we'll have to advertise, we just will. Every industry gets there where you will eventually have to pay to advertise because it's the only way to keep growing. A lot of people in this room will already pay, but if you don't, you're in a really golden era where you get loads of leads organically. But eventually you have to pay. So just a quick side note on that, it's a good time to get used to that and know what to do. But eventually we will have to charge just to pay for our advertising costs. So I've been in the gym industry for 12 years, and originally we got loads of organic leads, and then as more competition comes, and people get more sceptical, etc., you have to find more people, and then you have to pay, and not just charge £6, that's nothing anyway, but like £100 or whatever the membership will cost, just to pay off your advertising costs. So we will get there, but my opinion is, while we're not there and we kind of don't have to charge people, let's just flood people in. But £6 is the same thing, let's be honest. But the only downside to £6, which it's kind of like that, I'm not saying one's better than the other, it's £6 at the end of the day, but it's just one extra step. So like when they go, yeah, let's do it, and I go, right, now send you a payment link. And you'd be shocked at how many people stop dead at the payment link. And it's not because of the £6, it's because they've got no time to do anything. Like, I'll come back to that later, and then etc., etc. So that's the rationale on it.
I think on the back of that as well, I think we're quite a niche, unique kind of sport. So it's like somebody's looking from the outside in, if they've never experienced it, or maybe if like they've never watched an mate, they've seen the mate do the judo or that. Like it's like going to a car showroom. You're not gonna buy the car unless you test roll it. But if they charge you to test drive the car, you're like, fuck off, just go somewhere else. So my take on it is like, get them through the door first, talk to them, and then you'll gauge whether they're going to want to make a membership. But if you're putting that barrier there of them going, oh, I'll come down to try it out, but I've got to pay a tenner. Like, if they don't know if they're going to like it or they've never like done any kind of combat sports before, I think that's just one more barrier there that's kind of going, nah, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, it's like backing up what you said. It was like when you people rock up to a gym, they get scared, they get everything else, and then back up what you said. The first impression when you walk in and you can have that conversation with them, and you are passionate about the sport. They're like, okay, this seems fun, and then it's like they come in, they think that UFC, it's like, oh, it's all aggressive and everything else. Where everybody here can back up. It's like it's the complete opposite. It's way more calm, way more chilled out, and they go, okay, this is way more fun. And it's that first impression, as you said. It's having that conversation with them, like, yeah, try out a week, see if you like it. You know what I mean? And they go, okay, I like this, I'm gonna stick with it.
That's it.
Rather than saying payments, like, oh, you need to pay this and you need to pay this, and I'll only give you this much attention if you pay this. They sort of off.
Session.
Years ago, visiting the sister in Nottingham and messaging Ways Grappling Gyms just to drop into an open mat. And I've been training for about 10 years at the time. I was like, they were going to charge me to rent their gear. I was like,
I can imagine that whole single.
There's more barrier for somebody in the sport to get to it.
I couldn't agree.
Fuck that. I said it once to my mate. So it's just, if we're putting barriers up for people in the sport, like, would any of them within anything 25 quid to hire some gear? Like, so we wouldn't pay that barrier. But how can we expect somebody who's not even involved in the sport know what's going to contain it to put money up for them anyway?
I think there's two sides to it, though, isn't it? Because the free trial is letting people walk through the door without giving them any commitment, and you just come in and you don't have a barrier or friction to come in. But then I get with the paid trial, because the paid trials, then you get that commitment from them initially, when sometimes if you commit to a free trial and you have to put it down, you're less likely to turn up because you haven't committed anything to the paid trial. I do free trials at mine, but I think the paid trial is, there's some value in it because you're getting the commitments. The more likely to turn up if you paid something before you get there.
It is a balance in act, there is, and eventually we will have to do it. And the biggest problem in the industry at the minute is show rate, in my opinion. It's like, obviously everything we discussed, but then after that there is a show rate thing, so it is a balance. We will eventually have to charge, but say even £6 though, people might not show. Do you know what I mean? So Tish, what are you gonna?
Just to put it in a kind of, not to let anyone suck eggs or anything, but just to put it in a kind of real life situation. So before we opened the gym last year, I had the opportunity to work for Majestic. If you don't know what that is, it's martial arts, mixed martial arts gym. And Kev's been there for a really, really long time. And I ended up working on reception for him while I was training. And it really frustrated me because they would get 3 sessions, yes, they were paid, before they had to have a membership. And it's the same kind of concept. You're not tied into anything for your first 3 sessions, so it was still inviting. And it was this thing where I started keeping a spreadsheet. I literally, an Excel spreadsheet, because it was rubbish at admin, of who's coming in and how many times they've been in. And he'd never done it, and I actually got, I'm not even kidding you, maybe into the 200s, 300s of all these people that had come to the first, second and third session. And when they came back and signed up, I moved them over to the next spreadsheet. It was all manual, and I'm not even joking you, there was maybe 300 people on that 3 session page, and maybe 10, 15 people that had transitioned over to a membership. And I remember thinking to myself, that's nuts. like, he must be losing something here. And then actually, it shows that those 10, 15 people, they've now got all-inclusive memberships. They then brought their kids, they then brought their mates, they then brought, who never even did the 3 sessions. They actually just signed straight up because they'd been to watch their mates, or their family had heard things. And to boot that, which is exactly what's just been said, I was on reception. Now, if you've met me, I don't shut up, and I love talking to people. And so, I'm not the best salesperson, but I can talk, and I make families feel warm and welcome. So if you can imagine you've got this system of no commitment and somebody on the front desk, the moment they walk in so they feel safe and at home, that was actually bringing, we were seeing the memberships go up. So although we only had 10, 15, 20 people signing up for memberships, what we then didn't see was all the pipeline stuff coming through, and then people coming back.
Yeah.
You know, I'd say if you've been before, yeah, I came 3 months ago, I'd find them on the list and move them over. Obviously, your system allows us to do that without all that manual work, but actually those free trials or those non-commitment sessions, doesn't matter where you are, you're going to get hundreds that don't come, but they are so important. They're so important, like I said, to pipeline. So it does work.
Yeah, and if you're tracking the people that don't come as well, that's another pipeline of people that you can hit back up. You know what I mean? As you said, the ones that never even respond, but you've got people that did respond, and you should be tracking the stage we're at. And the customer experience when they come in the building is really important as well, because, as we said before, first impression, professional, that carries on. When, like, if you just allow someone to walk in the gym and start rolling, well, not rolling, but just put on the mat themselves, that's terrifying. So we have to wrap up. Got one more question from House there.
Yeah, it's just there's quite a few yoga gyms around where I am that do sort of a longer sort of trial period, but it's paid. So they'll do like 3 weeks or like a month, and it's like heavily discounted. But then, it's like you get that map time. Would that be like a separate thing or that?
In my opinion, that's what we'll all end up doing.
Right.
So a slightly longer trial that's paid, and it's like an intro thing, but we're not going to give you it for free. The downside is obviously you're going to get some people that won't be willing to pay, because, and it's not. By the way, I don't think this industry has time wasters. I don't believe that. We do in other industries. I've got people in the gyms that come and like try and get freebies and all that. You got to be a psychopath to get loads of free memberships at MMA gyms. Like, as scary as it is, like, why would you go and try that and then try that, try that? It's not about that. It's about, they just want to make sure that they're not going to give up after a couple of days and waste loads of money. That's what it is, in my opinion. But yeah, what you just said is, for me, it wouldn't be one or the other. It'd be one or the other, not both. Right. Because it's just a way of getting people in the door. And the reason why the free trial, if you're going to do it, for me, needs to be short, is because the only benefit should be at least to get straight to a membership quickly. Whereas if you did, like, I've seen people do 3-month trials. I think that's crazy, because it's like, it's too long before you get to the money if you're going to give it for free. And also as well, I believe the peak of somebody's excitement when they start a new MMA, a Jiu-Jitsu gym, is that first week. So sign them up when they're most excited. By week 2, week 3, they might have had a bad week, or they've just been filled in for the first time, or whatever. Like, so get them while they're hot, and before they lose any momentum. Because if they don't come week 3, you might never see them again. Whereas if they joined at week 1, week 3, not coming might not be enough to fall off because they remember now. Do you know what I mean? So we're going to wrap up because we're going to have to have a quick break now. But obviously we've got a chat all day, so just give us a shout if you want to speak more. But yeah, thanks for your questions. Let's get coffee, get tea, try and get croissants. Do tonic over there still.